All right, guys, we're back. It's great, and we're going to talk about the whole Dominic Cruz and Cejudo fight. Cejudo, as cringy and corny as that dude is, man, he does work, man. I mean, you can't take it away from him. A young Olympic wrestler, right? Medaled in the Olympics at 21, then retires, chills out, does his own thing, and then just pursues MMA. And with that same attitude, just takes over in MMA and gets 2 championships, not just one, against arguably one of the most pound per pound ultimate fighters of the whole world in Mighty Mouse, takes his title. He was like the equivalent of George St. Pierre for that weight class, where I can't even remember how many times he defended it. Maybe like 8 times already. It was almost on the same level as George St. Pierre, and then steps up in weight, takes out the champion there, defends the title, and now defends it again against one of the most dominant bantamweights in history as well, in Dominic Cruz. Now, yes, Dominic's been injury-ridden. He's been out of the game for a while, but he makes fights really awkward. And yes, this was a short fight, but that first round was all Cejudo once they came in there. He had the perfect game plan to take out Dominic Cruz with his awkward footwork. What's the best way of taking out the footwork? Taking out the feet. He did. He didn't try to wrestle him. He went straight for him with bad intentions of leg kicks. Like, he put not only his whole weight on it, it was just the entire body. It looked like his whole leg was ramming, looking like he was going to try to kick off both feet from Dominic Cruz. It was a solid game plan. That's how you slow something down. You want to slow somebody down, you take out the legs, Take out the legs, take out the cardio. But Dominic has great cardio, so go for the next best thing. So yeah, that whole first round, he just took it 10-9. Where I want to say is Dominic, I feel time has caught up to him. That whole footwork with the craziness where he cuts all these angles, I think certain elite level fighters are starting to catch on to that playbook, just like I guess Cejudo did, and they figure out ways of, cutting it short. Maybe it's also a little ring rust for the Dominator, but, it could be one or the other. That could be one thing, and that's why, Cejudo came with this great game plan of just, sweeping the leg, just like they said in the Karate Kid, sweep the leg. He kept on. He went for those leg kicks like it was going to, break through both of them. So, that's a factor. I truly feel that was a deciding factor as well in that round for that 10-9. In the second round, it was again all Cejudo. It was going to be all Cejudo. I think it was pulled out like within the last 5 seconds of the round. It's a damn shame too. It's a championship round, and the referee stopped it. It's very controversial in that sense, and this is where I'm gonna come into that one, where this is my reaction and feelings towards it. Me being in the commission side, it is my commission. I'm a Florida judge there, So I would, with my peer as of the referee, I would agree that, he did it for his best interest. It was in that moment, you react. A lot of this whole judging and refereeing is very subjective to that moment of what we're seeing. That's why people will always complain, oh, it's a highway robbery and this and that and that. We're not listening to commentators. We're not listening to anybody. We're focused on what we're seeing. And in those quick split-second moments right in front of us, we're looking at their eyes, we're looking at their body expressions. You don't see a lot of the time their eyes and their facial expressions or what's hitting what. A lot of times through the lenses of a camera or on your little TVs or monitors. You know, you're seeing everything right there on the spot live, and you see them. You see the facial expressions. You see the grunts. You hear everything. The stuff that you guys were able to hear on these fights that had no audience is the stuff that they hear. Those referees, us judges, are right there ringside most of the time. Even the commentators, but the commentators are so busy talking that they don't hear stuff most of the time. That's why they were so loud, and they're, you know, everybody in the ring was, or the octagon was hearing them. So, you know, I love them all, but, you know, I think Joe's legit, Joe Rogan, and come on, DC. No, John Anik, he's just the business guy there. He's just the one that's got to push the commercials and all that stuff. But the other two, I respect them, and they're legit, and they come into you know, they're very biased at times. You know, they're very biased to Dom. Obviously, DC, he's buddies with them, and they work all together. You know, Dom works with all of them doing the commentating. But, you know, in the end, like even Joe was saying it, like, but then he was like, oh, I feel like after seeing the replay, you can kind of agree that it was an early stoppage. I still think so, even after the replays. Dom was getting up, you see it, but the referee was already going there. What he saw was Dom on his face. He was swaying like this, taking hits. Referee's going to react. Being that it's a title fight, and I agree with Dominic Cruz on this, being that on his post commentary with Joe, it's a title fight. You got to let that play a little bit more, man. There's a lot more on the stake. I get fighter safety. He still, I don't know. I'm looking at through again through my TV. He looked like he was still, you know, okay. He looked like he, you know, I could tell that he was waiting to get up, but the referee, he saw and felt differently, and he jumped in. He thought the dude was in trouble. He thought he was getting hit hard by Cejudo. Didn't know if he was really getting up or it was one of those like dizzy wobbles. You know, you're not in Dominic's head, so you don't know if it's true or not. And so what he's seeing is, you know, somebody is just flopping around on the floor getting hit, not defending himself. You don't. If that was head movement, then that wasn't a good head movement for somebody that does a lot of head movement, you know. And it was also a matter of time. You know, he does all this crazy bobbing and weaving, and he goes really low. You know, I always wondered, even back then when I was doing my kickboxing, and I would watch, you know, young Dominic Cruz too back in the day at WEC, and he's doing all that stuff in WEC, you know, and he does this crazy, like, super low head movement. I always wondered if they timed it right, his opponent, whoever it is, times it right and gives him a good kick there or a knee, Dom's out. Cejudo did it. It took a few years later, but, you know, again, it feels like somebody did their research and put it to work. Like, this is how we're going to take him out. We're going to take him out with these leg kicks, and he does all this crazy bobbing. You're going to find the timing to, boom, take that knee. Pa, pa. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Dominic, great champion, Hall of Famer in the making, super smart in the game. But, you know, Cejudo was the better man there for sure, no matter what. Maybe if it went to the third, it might have flipped over and Dominic would have started gaining the momentum. But it was the champ's time, and it was his thing. You know, early stoppage or not, I felt like I personally still feel it should have kept on going. If I was judging it and I was ringside, I still might feel the same way, like he should have let that keep going. I don't know, but again, it's heat of the moment, it's subjective. The judges are, remember, they're all placed in different corners of the ring. So, you know, if I was placed clearly across from the whole event, I'm not getting a good perspective of it, and I might think, oh, what are you doing, man? You just jumped in, or it could have looked like, oh, he's in trouble from far away. But then if I'm close and I'm seeing it right here, because if I could be right here as close as the camera is to me, and he's getting beat the crap out of, you know, I'll be like, oh, wow, he looks dazed. Good call, ref. Or no, he looks like he was pretty much well composed. I can't tell. I wasn't there in person to see it myself. There's only 3 dudes in the ring. The 2 fighters and the ref. And they're the ones that are able to really tell. Other than that, even the judges can't really tell unless you're really right there in front of them to see it. Because the guy on the other end, that's the reason why sometimes we get discrepancies in scores. He might miss something that the other guy that's closer will catch it. And that's why sometimes we have these little splits. But, that's a topic for another thing. Other than that, congratulations to Cejudo. I hope the best for him. I hope that, we'll see Dominic back in action. And maybe now that there's a vacancy about to happen with, Cejudo retiring, it only seems right that maybe Dominic or somebody else, comes in and faces him. Since Dominic was a clear challenger, maybe somebody else would be coming in, whoever's number 2, number 1, and they kind of duke it out for it. Other than that, it is what it is, and I'm just glad we have MMA back. It's going to be on for almost all of May now. The whole month of May, going on to the first week of July, we're getting MMA. Because we're making up for 2 months worth of losses of MMA. We got another one on the Wednesday coming up. Then on Saturday, where I have a buddy of mine that's going to fight. Then there's going to be another one on the following. It's just, it's back. So let's just sit back and enjoy it. Just like, I try to enjoy these, not really try to overanalyze any of it. So other than that, MMA JudgeCast out.